Hi, I'm Mrs. Canoyer, and this is Miss Soto from Helping Hands Preschool. Today we have two stories to read to you. The first is Growing Vegetable Soup, written and illustrated by Lois Ellert.
Cultivando sopas de vegetales.
Dad says we are going to grow vegetable soup.
Papá dice que vamos a cultivar sopas de vegetales.
We're ready to work and our tools are ready too.
Estamos listos para trabajar y nuestras herramientas están listas también.
We are planting the seeds.
Estamos sembrando las semillas.
And all the sprouts.
Y todos los retoños.
And giving them water.
Y dándoles agua.
And waiting for warm sun to make them grow.
Y esperando que el calor del sol las haga crecer.
And grow.
Y crecer.
And grow into plants.
Y convertirse en plantas.
Squash and zucchini and peas. We watch over them and weed.
Las cuidamos y las deshervamos.
Until the vegetables are ready for us to pick.
Hasta que estén listos para recoger.
Tomatoes and peppers and corn. Or dig up.
O desenterrar.
Carrots and potatoes. And carry home, and then we wash them.
Y los llevamos a casa y luego los lavamos.
And cut them and put them in a pot of water.
Y cortamos y ponemos en una olla con agua.
Carrot, corn, onion, squash, tomato, pea, pepper, potatoes, broccoli, and green beans and cabbage. And cook them into vegetable soup.
Y los cocinamos en una sopa de vegetales.
At last, it's time to eat it all up. It was the best soup ever.
Al fin es tiempo de comerlo todo. Fue la mejor sopa.
And we can grow it again next year.
Y podemos cultivarla otra vez el próximo año.
The second story today is Stone Soup, a Scandinavian folk tale by Marcia Brown. I'm going to do a flannel board adaptation by Gail Bittinger.
Sopa de piedra.
Once upon a time, there was an old woman who lived by herself in a little cottage.
Había una vez una anciana que vivía sola en una casita de campo.
One evening, an old man came to her door.
Una tarde llegó un anciano a su puerta.
Do you have food for a hungry old man to eat and a place for a tired old man to rest? He asked.
¿Tiene comida para que este anciano hambriento coma y un lugar para que este cansado anciano descanse?
I suppose you could rest here for a while, said the old woman, but I have no food to eat.
Supongo que puede descansar aquí por un rato, dijo la anciana, pero no tengo nada para comer.
Well then, you must be very hungry, said the old man. Lend me a pot and I'll make some stone soup for both of us.
Bueno, entonces, usted debe de tener mucha hambre, dijo el anciano. Présteme una olla y yo haré la sopa de piedras para los dos.
The old woman was very curious about the old man's stone soup, so she lent him a pot.
La anciana estaba muy curiosa acerca de la sopa de piedra del anciano, así que le prestó una olla.
The old man filled the pot with water and set it over the fire. He took a large stone from his pocket, washed it, dried it, and rubbed it 3 times. And then he set it in the pot of water.
El anciano llenó la olla con agua y la puso sobre el fuego. Sacó una piedra grande de su bolsillo, la lavó y secó cuidadosamente y la frotó 3 veces. Luego puso la piedra en una olla con agua.
If only I had a handful of flour, this stone soup would taste ever so much better, said the old man. But there's no use thinking about what one hasn't got.
Si solo tuviese un poco de harina, esta sopa sabría mucho mejor, dijo el anciano. Pero no vale la pena pensar en lo que uno no tiene.
The old woman thought she might have a handful of flour. She went and found it and gave it to the old man, and he stirred it into the soup.
La anciana pensó que ella podría tener un poco de harina. Ella fue y la encontró y se la dio al anciano y le echó en la sopa.
If only I had a few small vegetables, this soup would be quite delicious, said the old man. But there's no use thinking about what one hasn't got.
Si solo tuviese un poco de vegetales, esta sopa sabría bastante deliciosa, dijo el anciano. Pero no vale la pena pensar en lo que uno no tiene.
The old woman thought she might have a few small vegetables. She went and found them and gave them to the old man, who stirred them into the pot.
La anciana pensó que ella podría tener unos pocos vegetales. Ella fue y los encontró y se los dio al anciano, quien los echó en la sopa.
If only I had a bit of beef, this soup would be good enough for company, said the old man. But there's no use thinking about what one hasn't got.
Si solo tuviese un poco de carne, esta sopa sería buena para tener invitados, dijo el anciano. Pero no vale la pena pensar en lo que uno no tiene.
The old woman said she thought she might have a bit of beef, so she went and found it and added it to the soup. The old man kept stirring and stirring.
La anciana dijo que pensaba que podría tener un poco de carne, así que la fue y la encontró y la añadió a la sopa. El anciano siguió moviendo y moviendo.
If only I had a little barley and a drop of milk, this soup would be fit for a king, said the old man. But there's no use thinking about what one hasn't got.
Si solo tuviese un poco de cebada y una gota de leche, esta sopa sería como para un rey, pero no vale la pena pensar en lo que uno no tiene.
The old woman thought she might have a little barley and a drop of milk, so she went and found them. She gave them to the old man, and he slowly stirred them into the soup.
La anciana pensó que podría tener un poco de cebada y una gota de leche, así que fue a buscarlos. Ella se los dio al anciano y lentamente le echó en la sopa.
Our soup is ready now, the old man announced. We'll have a grand feast tonight.
Nuestra sopa está lista, anunció el anciano. Tendremos un gran fiesta en esta noche.
The old woman was amazed. Imagine.
La anciana estaba asombrada, imagínate.
Soup from a stone.
Ella dijo, sopa de una piedra.
Welcome to Story Hour. Today we'll be reading 3 books, 2 in English, in Spanish, and 1 in English. Miss Cruz and I will be reading today. My name is Mrs. Wilbur, this is Miss Cruz, and we both work with children in Helping Hands Preschool. The first book we'll be reading today will be Where Does the Brown Bear Go? By Nikki Weiss. When the lights go down on the city street, where does the white cat go, honey? Where does the white cat go?
Cuando las luces se apagan en las calles de la ciudad, ¿a dónde va el gato blanco, cariño? ¿A dónde va el gato blanco?
When evening settles on the jungle heat, where does the monkey go, honey? Where does the monkey go?
Cuando se pone noche en el calor del lugar, ¿a dónde va el mono, cariño? ¿A dónde va el mono?
They are on their way. They are on their way home.
Ellos van de camino a sus casas.
When shadows fall across the dune, where does the camel go, honey? Where does the camel go?
Cuando las sombras caen al otro lado de la colina, ¿a dónde va el camelo, cariño? ¿A dónde va el camelo?
When the junkyard is lit by the light of the moon, where does the stray dog go, honey? Where does the stray dog go?
Cuando la basura del patio se alumbra con la luz de la luna, ¿a dónde va el perro perdido, cariño? ¿A dónde va el perro perdido?
They are on their way. They are on their way home.
Ellos van de camino a su casa.
When the sun sinks far behind the seas, where does the seagull go, honey? Where does the seagull go?
Cuando el sol se hunde lejos detrás del mar, ¿a dónde va la gaviota, cariño? ¿A dónde va la gaviota?
When night in the forest disguises the trees, where does the brown bear go, honey? Where does the brown bear go?
Cuando la noche en el bosque defrisa los árboles, ¿a dónde va el oso marrón, cariño? ¿A dónde va el oso marrón?
They are on their way. They are on their way home.
Ellos van de camino a su casa.
The stars are bright and a warm wind blows. Through the window tonight, honey, through the window tonight.
Las estrellas brillan en el viento, sopla a través de la ventana esta noche, cariño, a través de la ventana esta noche.
And everyone is home.
Y todos están en casa.
The name of the second book is Corduroy by Don Freeman. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day he waited and with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator and up he went. Could this be a mountain, he wondered? I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there, before his eyes, was the most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace." He wandered around admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed." and he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something round and small. "Why, here's my button," he cried, and he tried to pick it up. But like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both paws until, pop, off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled. Bang! Into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. "Now, who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all. And there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning, and there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he had seen only the day before. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I'd saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home." "Shall I put him in a box for you?" the saleslady asked. "Oh, no thank you," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up the 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight into her own room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like that enormous palace in the department store. "This must be home," he said. "I know I've always wanted a home." Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you the way you are," she said, "but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and gave him a big hug. The last book is entitled Brown Bear, What Do You See? By Bill Martin Jr. and Eric Carle. Brown Bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me.
Oso marrón, ¿qué ves? Yo veo un pájaro rojo mirándome.
Red bird, what do you see? I see a yellow duck looking at me.
Pájaro rojo, ¿qué ves? Yo veo un pato amarillo mirándome.
Yellow duck, what do you see? I see a blue horse looking at me.
Pato amarillo, ¿qué ves? Yo veo un caballo azul mirándome.
Blue horse, what do you see? I see a green frog looking at me.
Caballo azul, ¿qué ves? Yo veo una rana verde mirándome.
Green frog, what do you see? I see a purple cat looking at me.
Rana verde, ¿qué ves? Yo veo un gato lila mirándome.
Purple cat, what do you see? I see a white dog looking at me.
Gato lila, ¿qué ves? Yo veo un perro blanco mirándome.
White dog, what do you see? I see a black sheep looking at me.
perro blanco, ¿qué ves? Yo veo una hoja negro mirándome.
Black sheep, what do you see? I see a goldfish looking at me.
Oveja negra, ¿qué ves? Yo veo un pez dorado mirándome.
Goldfish, what do you see? I see a teacher looking at me.
Pez dorado, ¿qué ves? Yo veo una maestra mirándome.
Teacher, what do you see? I see children looking at me.
Maestra, ¿qué ve? Yo veo niños mirándome.
Children, what do you see?
Niños, ¿qué ve?
We see a brown bear, a red bird, a yellow duck, a blue horse, a green frog, a purple cat, a white dog, a black sheep, a goldfish, and a teacher looking at us. That's what we see.
Nosotros vemos un oso marrón, un pájaro rojo, un pato amarillo, un caballo azul, una rana verde, un gato lila, un perro blanco, una oveja negra, un pez dorado y una maestra mirándonos. Eso es lo que vemos.
Hi, I'm Leslie Atedke, and this is Cindy Cruz, and we're here to read 2 books to you today for Helping Hands Preschool. The first book is called I Like Me by Nancy Carlson. I like me. I have a best friend.
Yo tengo un mejor amigo.
That best friend is me.
Este mejor amigo soy yo.
I do fun things with me. I draw beautiful pictures.
Yo hago cosas divertidas. Yo hago dibujos bonitas.
I ride fast.
Yo corro rápido.
And I read good books with me.
Y yo leo libros buenos.
I like to take care of me. I brush my teeth.
Me gusta cuidarme. Me cepillo los dientes.
I keep clean and I eat good food.
Me mantengo limpio y yo como alimentos buenos.
When I get up in the morning, I say, "Hi, good looking."
Cuando yo me levanto por las mañanas, yo digo, hola guapa.
I like my curly tail, my round tummy, and my tiny little feet.
Me gusta mi cola risita, mi barriga redonda y mis pies pequeñitos.
When I feel bad,
Cuando me siente mal,
I cheer myself up.
me alegro yo misma.
When I fall down,
Cuando me caigo,
I pick myself up.
me levanto yo misma.
When I make mistakes,
Cuando cometo errores,
I try and try again.
yo trato y trato otra vez.
No matter where I go or what I do,
No me importa a dónde yo vaya o lo que hago,
I'll always be me.
siempre será yo.
And I like that.
Y a mí me gusta eso.
The end. Mouse Paint by Ellen Stoll Walsh.
Pintura para ratones.
Once there were 3 white mice on a white piece of paper. The cat couldn't find them.
Había una vez 3 ratones en un pedazo de papel blanco. El gato no lo podía encontrar.
One day, while the cat was asleep, the mice saw 3 jars of paint. 1 red, 1 yellow, and 1 blue.
Un día, cuando el gato estaba durmiendo, los ratones vieron 3 botes de pintura, una roja, un amarillo y un azul.
They thought it was mouse paint. They climbed right in. Then 1 was red, 1 was yellow, and 1 was blue.
Pensaron que era pintura para ratones. Ellos se subieron rápidamente. Entonces, una era rojo, una era amarillo y uno azul.
They dripped puddles of paint onto the paper. The puddles looked like fun.
Gotaron charcos de pintura en el papel. Los charcos se veían divertidos.
The red mouse stepped into a yellow puddle and did a little dance. His red feet stirred the yellow puddle until...
El ratón rojo se paró en el charco amarillo y hizo un pequeño baile. Sus pies rojos agitaron el charco hasta que...
Look, he cried, red feet in a yellow puddle make orange.
Mira, gritó, los pies rojos en un charco amarillo lo hace anaranjado.
The yellow mouse hopped into a blue puddle. His feet mixed and stirred and stirred and mixed until...
El ratón amarillo brincó al charco azul. Sus pies mezclaron y agitaron y agitaron y mezclaron hasta que...
Look down, said the red mouse and the blue mouse. Yellow feet in a blue puddle make green.
Mira, dijeron el ratón rojo y el ratón azul. Pies amarillo en un charco azul lo hace verde.
Then the blue mouse jumped into a red puddle. He splashed and mixed and danced until...
El ratón azul brincó al charco rojo. El chapote mezcló y bailó hasta que...
Purple, they all shouted. Blue feet in a red puddle make purple.
Violeta, todos gritaron. Pies azules en un charco rojo lo hace violeta.
But the paint on their fur got sticky and stiff, so they washed themselves down to a nice soft white.
Pero la pintura en sus pieles se puso pegajoso y dura, así que se lavaron para el color blanco.
And they painted the paper instead. They painted 1 part red and 1 part yellow.
Y esta vez pintaron el papel. Pintaron un parte rojo y un parte amarillo.
And 1 part blue. They mixed red and yellow to paint an orange part.
Y una parte azul. Mezclaron el rojo y el amarillo para pintar un parte anaranjado.
Yellow and blue to paint a green part. And blue and red to paint a purple part.
Amarillo y azul para pintar un parte verde y azul y rojo para pintar un parte violeta.
But they left some white because of the cat.
Pero dejaron un parte blanco por el gato.
The end.